laughing at me.
So guys, I gotta tell it. I'm telling that. I'm telling. So Cherie
Good
woke.
morning, guys.
No. Good morning, guys. Cherie woke up a couple days ago with a crook in her neck, and so this morning, before we even get started, right? We ain't even introduced ourselves or nothing. This joker is
Morning,
doing her
Lynn.
little shimmy, and her neck got stuck. What's up, Shorty? You good? God bless America. You got a little something.
I haven't had too much fun.
You had too much fun. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us this morning, welcome. I'm excited everybody's coming in the room. Welcome to the room. Listen, today we're going to talk about reflections. So when I say reflections, Winston Churchill basically said that people who do not remember their past are doomed to repeat it, right? And so today, in light of that, we're going to just kind of go down the reflection road, specifically for people who are coming behind us who are trying to figure it out, and we're going to give them some tips.
Then stop laughing at me.
So the truth is we want to say welcome to Breakfast with the Brookses. For those of you all who are just joining us, put a replay, if you are a replay viewer, in the chat. For those of you who are with us live,
Sophia.
I just want to say good morning.
Jacqueline.
Welcome to everybody in the room. My name is Glenn P. Brooks Jr. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a coach, and this lovely light-skinned lady with the crook in her neck is...
Cherie Brooks Jr., author, speaker, relationship, and life balance coach, and it is great to be with you guys this morning.
We are home, babe. We are home. This has been a whirlwind of a week for us, yes?
Yes. It's been a great week.
It has. It has been a really great week. We've got a lot to celebrate. Great morning, Eric Jones Jr.
Morning,
Great
Eric.
morning, Lynn. Who else? Lynn is laughing. Lynn is laughing at her friend, guys. It's just terrible. You know you got friends when they start laughing at you. Great morning, Sophia. Good to see you. And Lynn said she rolling on the floor. Good to see you, Jacqueline. Appreciate you, sis. Good to see everybody. Joseph, what's up, sir? Good morning. Good morning. Shout out to the MMC
Linwood.
community. Good morning, Linwood. Great morning to you, my friend. Where's Danae? Is she in there somewhere? I thought I saw her. Maybe not. But guys, listen, if you have a friend, if you have someone who is just starting out, maybe in marriage, or maybe they're just starting out in building their family, right? Or maybe they're starting out in blending a family, you want to tag them, because we're going to go down what I'm going to call a reflections road. It's the day after Thanksgiving.
2 days after.
2 days after Thanksgiving, and people normally this time of the year are super nostalgic about what they're thankful for. So I want you guys to start putting it in the chat. What are you thankful for? And I want you to frame it this way. If you had it to do it all over again as a parent, what would you do differently? If you had to do it all over again in your first marriage, even though you screwed it up like I did, right? Like Cherie did, what would you do different? If you had it to do over in a dating relationship that went really bad, what would you do different? I think, Cherie, most often, most of us don't realize how much power we have, man. And we can actually right some wrongs as we get opportunities to do it again.
Right. And I think every year, this time of year, after Thanksgiving, people get reflective and start thinking about it. But we often just reflect on what we have.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're grateful for what we currently have. But I like to take the time to look back at the things that I've learned over the year.
Yep.
And often that is reflecting on the areas where I've missed it, the areas where I lost. To be able to grow.
We're going to talk
and
about
move
losses
forward.
today.
Yes.
Wow.
Because those help you to be able to move forward. Those help you to be able to grow.
Yep.
And so you have to take the time to look back at those things. And I always have. I've developed the attitude that mistakes and challenges that you go through, trials, are not a bad thing, as long as you learn something from them. As long as you gain something from it. I don't look at anything that I've gone through, any of the trauma that I've experienced. Right. I don't look at it as a negative thing. I try to look at it as a growing opportunity.
Yeah, so either you're learning or you're losing.
Right.
The only way you're losing is if you are not learning. So real quick, let me just say this. Somebody said, Jacqueline said, one of the things that she would do is she would communicate better and spend more time. Mm-hmm. That's critical. It's funny, Jacqueline, that you say that, because our kids are in town. All of them are under one roof. Our nephew is in town from Houston, and he hasn't spent the Thanksgiving with us, God. Since he's been an adult, really. I mean, since he was, and so he and our daughter are the exact same age, are a day apart, and so they're first cousins. And I think that when Jacqueline talks about communicating better and spending more time, there's an intrinsic value, I believe, that comes with just spending time.
Right, right. I think like last night we went over to my brother's house.
Oh man!
And it was so reminiscent of back in the day because we all just sat around the house, no TV on.
Y'all remember this? Put a hand up, put a 1 in the chat if you remember sitting around the living room, the dining room, somebody's bedroom, hanging out in your house, and all y'all was doing was listening to music while talking. No TV involved, obviously no devices. Raise your hand if you remember that. That was last night, man. We had a ball.
Right.
Sitting by the fireplace.
My two nephews, my sister-in-law's son, Johnny, I was going to say Patrick. We keep getting them mixed up.
Yeah, because she has
two sons. And my nephew Terry, they both were here. We were there with my brother and his wife, and we all just sat around listening to music, listening to old school music, and just talking and just spending time.
Yeah.
You know, we're normally, you know, in today, you know, you got to have the TV on. People are distracted by devices.
Yeah.
And we just got to really just spend time just hanging out, and that was like one of the best moments I think from this weekend.
I think officially this was the best Thanksgiving ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look, I'm gonna go to the chat real quick, Cherie. So Linwood said 1, loved it. I get it, Linwood. Those was the days, right? One of the things that Lynn is saying that, and I think this is really good. She says, in one of my relationships, in every one of my relationships, I did not value me. I put everyone's needs before mine, and therefore I lost who Lynn was. And man, that's heavy. That's important. So we're talking about, for those of you all who are just joining us, you know, we're just reflecting. If you could have done things differently, what would you have done in your parenting, in your relationships, in your marriages? And I think that Lynn hit something, babe, that's just critical. Like, how many times do you look up and years later we get to coach people in our Marriages and Parenting Successfully Relationship Academy who have literally lost themselves? But here's the challenge. By this time, they're 40, 50, 60 years old in some cases. And it's like, what in the world? How do you get that back? Like, that'll mess with your head.
Right, right. And I think oftentimes we get so used to giving to everybody else that we lose ourselves. And I'm a big proponent of that. You can't help anybody else. You can't be there for anybody else if you don't invest in yourself first, because you have to be healthy mentally, physically, spiritually first before you can give to everybody else, especially as parents, you know, especially for wives. We give, and mothers, you give.
Yep.
And we put ourselves on the back shelf.
Dangerous.
And then you wind up, you burn out eventually.
Yep.
It looks different for different people, but you have a breaking point.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I think we have to realize that you have to invest in self-care first and foremost in order for you to be able to get to anybody else.
Absolutely. Karen says, as a mother, I've had a great experience with being a mom, so I would listen and validate what they were going through more. Wow. Karen, that's huge, man. Like I don't think parents really get this, babe. There is a light bulb that a parent actually can throw the switch on in their child just by validating them.
Right, right. And it's something, it sparks something. It creates, it builds their self-confidence in a way that, you know, is unimaginable. I mean, like I look at my grandkids, it's like they believe they can do anything.
Their confidence.
They believe they can do anything.
Their confidence is on next level. It's like,
right.
Bro, you can't do, but you can't tell them that. Remember when Zia was about 3, this was before Mimi was born, and Zia would say, right before she was born, as a matter of fact, it was the summer before Mimi was born, she would say things like I'd have her, she would come to us for the summers, and I'd be hanging out with her during the day. And I'm telling you, you couldn't fix this girl breakfast, her cereal.
I can do it myself.
Without her trying to get in front of you to do it. It's like, Zia, no, Pop, no, Pop, I can do it myself. And the crazy thing is, I'd back up, I'd let her do it, knowing she couldn't, but I'd let her try. And then as soon as she got to the place where she really couldn't do it, she would say, Pop, I need help. And I mean, there was just no, first of all, she would fight you to do it herself. And then as soon as she couldn't do it anymore, she would ask for help, like at 3. So when you start validating kids at that early age, man, if I could go back and do that differently, I absolutely would. I think for me, if I had to jump in, babe, I think I would have practiced the art and learned how to listen. I had an experience once. Our oldest, Shantae, she got older, and she was an adult by then, and she and I were having a conversation, and she said, "Dad, you know, one of the challenges that I had is that you didn't listen to me. In other words, there were times where we would be going through something, and I know what it was. She said you didn't believe who I really was. Mm-hmm. In other words,
you didn't have confidence.
You didn't have confidence in me.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be a situation that's going down, and I would mischaracterize it. I'd miscall it. I'd just be an epic fail. And she said, Dad, here's the problem. The problem is that you didn't have any confidence in me. You didn't know how to listen to me. You wasn't paying attention to me. And so when you know your child and when you're willing to listen to them, man, does it take their confidence to the next level.
Right,
Phyllis Martin, thanks for jumping in the room. Phyllis Martin Madison, appreciate you for jumping in the room, sis. We're talking to people, guys, today. This is Reflection Road, and I'm just randomly going through and picking people's comments. So please comment on the fact that if you could do it differently as a parent, as a wife, as a husband, perhaps in a dating relationship, what would you do differently and why? We want to post it up.
Well, I know for me, I would have not been so, how can I say this nicely? So much a stick in the mud.
A stick in the
been
what?
So serious. I would have
lightened up a little bit.
Yeah, I would have lightened up a little bit. I would have been much more fun, especially when the kids were younger, and even in my first marriage, I was very serious, very focused, very regimented.
That's a good word, because you was regimented when I met you.
Yeah.
Lord Jesus.
Yeah, I would have loosened up more because
tough,
as I got older and I started to, I not only started to enjoy life better, but I also gave them the freedom to be them. I know with my daughter, I suppressed who she was for so long because I was so regimented. I didn't allow her to be her.
Yeah.
And it was not until actually we got together that I got to embrace that her sanguine, her
extrovert, right? Her extrovert.
Right.
No, it's funny. I laugh because, and I'll tell y'all a quick story. So when Cherie and I got married, Cherie was borderline OCD. I swear, never formally diagnosed, but I promise you, she, for all intents and purposes, she was like, it was like, bruh, like. Do you have a disorder here? Because that's not normal for people to do that kind of stuff. And I'm telling you, what was crazy, babe, is that, you know, we knew she had a problem, guys, when she would go grocery shopping and then she would come home, and then in the cabinet you would have to have the green beans all on the same row, the corn all on the same row, the peas all on the same row. But then it got worse. Because it got worse, guys. It got worse. Because now if you had, let's say you had Del Monte and Heinz or Hunt's or whatever the other brand is, the store brand.
No, I didn't buy store brand.
No, you didn't buy store brand. That's an example. I'm not trying to put you out there like.
Had a flashback for my
Right. Y'all see how she getting, you see? It's starting to come back. This joker would literally put it in the cabinet by label, by brand, by product. I'm like, bruh, the grocery store don't do that much. What are you doing?
They do.
Well,
it was just like a grocery store.
Maybe look, and then I'm thinking to myself, well, shoot, that's for marketing and promotions reasons. Period. Like, we're home now.
I was marketing it in the cabinet.
Yeah, you was. It was bad.
And the really bad thing was like the towels. The towels and that was worse than the
help
cabinet.
Me Jesus, not the towels.
If they folded the towels, you had to fold them a certain way. If they were folded wrong, it was hell to pay.
Come on now. Look, y'all hear that? There was some hells to pay in the house if them towels wasn't folded right. Linwood cracking me up. He talking about, the cans gotta match. I know it, Linwood. I think that's an OCD issue, man. So we're talking, guys, for those of you all who don't know, welcome to Breakfast with the Brookses. Cherie and I created a relationship academy. We call it MAPS, Marriages and Parenting Successfully. It's on our shirt. If you want more information about how you can become a part of our community, we'd love to have you. You just want to go to thecrcoach.com, www.thecrcoach.com. I'm super excited. We have guest speakers that are coming in We normally have a parenting group and couples group that are separate. The couples meet at 7 on Tuesdays. The parents meet at 8:30. But this week we're combining the couples and the parents because we're finishing up a series on communication,
Right.
and we're bringing a couple who's been crushing it in the area of parenting and the area of marriages and being able to merge their communication and bridge that communication gap. So I'm super excited for those of you all who are a part of that relationship academy. You're going to be, don't forget, be there on time. No, be there early because we're going to have a great time. We're going to actually merge the two groups. But if you guys want more information, maybe you're not a part of the academy, you're looking for a good group of people who will love you, who will speak truth, who will hold you accountable. MAPS and Online Relationship Academy is the way to go. But I just wanted to shout that out. But again, for those of you all who just joined us, welcome to Breakfast with the Brookses. We're talking about reflections, guys. Reflections, lessons learned in relationships. Lessons learned in relationships. And I saw something that our girl Sophia popped up, and it was just dope. Sophia is a part of the MAPS community, guys. And the thing I love about Sophia is that she's single. She doesn't have children, but she's in the MAPS community because when she becomes married, when she gets children, whenever that time for her comes, she's like, bro, I ain't doing this but one time. I ain't doing this but one time.
I'm trying to get all the
wisdom I'm trying to get all that wisdom I can now on the front end, so I don't be going through what y'all done went through. So she says, I'm not a parent or a wife, so I'm sharing from my prior dating experiences. If I had it to do all over again, I would have communicated better by honestly saying my thoughts and feelings instead of staying quiet. I also would not have settled by dating people I knew was not good for me or who did not align with my desires and goals.
And that's powerful.
That is fire.
Yeah, so many singles will get into a relationship. And it's funny, we were just talking about this the other day. How you'll get in a relationship. It's like the first person that pays attention to you, you're like, oh, this is the one.
That's it.
And you just settle, and then as you're
getting
in a
married.
relationship, you realize that.
Did you hear those wedding bells?
Right. It's like just because they paid attention to you, just because they notice you, doesn't necessarily mean they're the one. And
not at all.
There's so many women, and I can only speak for women, that settle because they're getting attention. But they see the red flags. You see that this person doesn't line up with you. They don't have the same values. They're not going the same direction with you. But we settle because somehow, somewhere along in our life, our self-esteem was not developed to a degree that you are so confident in who you are that you understand your own value and you're able to express your value and know your own worth. And one thing we talked about, like when we were dating, there was a point in time that I realized that Glenn had some issues, some things he had to deal with. And I was like, look, I'm done. Until you deal with that.
I'm not messing with you.
I'm not messing with you. And I was okay. Now, it hurt. I'm not going to lie and say it wasn't hurtful because I was like, I thought that he was the one. But I realized I'm not going down this path again because this, for me, would have been the third time. I was like, I'm not doing this again if you're not right. And so I'd rather be by myself than go through that.
Help me,
and
Jesus.
I think that it's amazing when a young woman can come to that conclusion. And realize you are worth more than you have the choice.
No doubt.
You have a choice.
No
if
doubt.
You're not married.
No doubt.
And you get to choose.
And you have choices. And ladies, let me just give you this from a male's perspective. It actually makes you even more attractive. Let me help you understand.
Right. When a woman has a standard.
When a woman has a standard, when she puts up a banner and she says this, she puts up a boundary. She says, "This is where I stop, and this is where you start. This is where I begin. This is where you end. And you don't cross that line, and I don't cross." I promise you that is actually attractive. And here's the thought process. Men by design are designed to conquer things. We're designed to possess things. We're designed by makeup to take dominion over stuff. Does that make sense, guys? Like to put a flag at the top of the hill, fight to get there, and that's, we conquered it, right? Well, that happens also in our dating relationships. Right. And when we decide, look, she's it, we're going to move heaven and earth. We're going to do everything we can to win the prize in you. Right. Here's a challenge. If you set that bar way too low and you make it easy for me and I don't have a challenge, here's the problem. I will win you because it was easy. But the problem is that I will not value you
Right.
because it was too easy.
Right.
Does that make sense, guys? It's the difference between, and y'all hear this characterization. I'm not calling y'all this object. But there's something different when you get a car that's given to you versus purchasing your own.
Right. Right.
How many of y'all, put a 1 in the chat real quick, if someone gave you your first car or you've had a car given to you before, right? Put a 2 in the chat if you had to buy that bad boy. You get what I'm saying? George came in on the right part. He said, hey, wait a minute. He came in. Look, we firing off, bro. We coming down on it as you coming in the door. I appreciate it. No, the truth is that you value what you pay for.
Right.
You value what you had to work for. And so, ladies, if I go back to,
you got to make him work.
You got to make him work for that.
Earn your respect. He has to earn your confidence in him. He has to earn you.
He has to earn the
right. You don't just give yourself
absolutely
away
not
to a person. And I'm not even talking about the physical part.
Yeah,
we ain't even talking
that's
about
like
that.
low on the totem pole.
We're
That's
just
a
talking
given.
about you giving yourself totally to this person, and you haven't made them work. Just because they take you out and wine and dine you, that does not equate to them
valuing
marriage material. That does not equate to them
absolutely
being father material.
Absolutely.
There are things you need to learn about this person and certain things, and I don't want to say there are tests they have to pass, but they're
benchmarks.
They're benchmarks.
I would call it benchmarks.
Right.
And guys, listen, and I'm going to switch gears in a second, but I do want you guys to understand. I'm going to stay on that value proposition. Listen to me. And I said value proposition. Ladies, listen to me very carefully. See, I get to coach sisters who are going through these esteem issues, right? And towards the end of their life, when you've gone through enough bad situations, it is going to quite naturally knock your esteem down several rungs, right? And so you are not going to see the value that you bring to the table.
Right.
Here is how you polish up yourself and you begin to show what you value. You take care of you. Hear me clearly. Ladies, when you decide, and this goes for fellas too, but when you decide to value you, I promise you, you're polishing up something that becomes bright and beautiful for someone else to see.
Right.
So when the joker comes, first of all, you're not even going to attract people who are not willing to value you.
Right.
And when you do, they're going to be like, yo, oh, never mind, I can't afford this. Does that make sense? In other words, it's like the cat walking in on the BMW lot. That salesman is not coming down on that price.
Right.
Promise you this. He's not coming down on the price. When you go into the BMW dealership, they ain't coming down. They're not bartering with you.
Right.
Why? Because they know this is the ultimate driving machine. You go over to Toyota for that. You want to bargain, you want to argue, you want to go back and forth, you like negotiating, great. There is a vehicle for you for that.
Right.
There is a woman, there is a female that will bargain with you. I'm just not her.
Right.
Does that make sense? And so, ladies, when you do that, it just changes the absolute game. Glenn and Cherie, Skippy wouldn't be here without you pouring into my life. I know that. Look, I was just having a conversation with Skippy last week, Lynn. Oh my God, we was leaving y'all's church, and he pulled me to the side. He said, brother, he said, you bless me. And here's the deal. She was looking for Skippy, but she got Bozy. I said, help me, Jesus. Y'all have to understand the backstory. But while Lynn was waiting, she was waiting for, he had a name. His name was Skippy. And that was his name. And so when he showed up, we all knew that his name was going to be Skippy. I didn't care what his name was, right? And so when Bozy shows up, it's like, no, he was a match made for her because she valued herself long enough to say, and she got herself a good one. And he got himself a good one because you guys decided to value one another. So I know that wasn't the talk today, but we're talking about reflections, lessons learned in relationships. Babe, biggest lesson learned in parenting for you. Biggest lesson learned in parenting for you.
That I can't control their outcome.
Woo! Say it again.
I can't control their outcome.
Say that again. Because there's so many parents that believe that.
Right. I cannot control their outcome. My job is to pour into them what I can and to love them unconditionally.
Y'all, let me tell you something right now. I had the opportunity last week to talk about love at High Calling Ministries. By the way, I got to stop really quickly while a lot of you guys are online. They blessed us with a a gift, a token of their appreciation for us coming through
Yes.
and doing the the Family Works
Family Works
experience.
workshop.
And I just want to say a huge
Thank you
thank you again for blessing us. This thing is heavy. I don't even know what we're going to call it. We're going to call this the Family Award or the Relationship Award. Isn't this beautiful, guys? And on the inscriptions it says, "Thank you, Glenn and Cherie. #Family Works the Experience. High Calling Ministries, November 18, 2018. This is what it looks like to be valued." Right?
Right.
This we didn't ask them to do this. We've done this workshop 1,000 times in one form, shape, or another. No one's ever done anything like this. This means so much because when I sit this in my office and I'm broadcasting live and I'm recognizing, no, Glenn, this information that you're giving it, I don't care who does anything with it, it's of value because people have valued doing this. And babe, one of the biggest lessons that I know for me, and I know you said controlling. You
can't control
you
the outcome.
cannot control the kid's outcome. For me, the biggest lesson is how to right the ship after you've wronged, after you've turned the wrong way, getting back. So I value now, and I've learned so much. That's the biggest lesson that I've learned, is that you have to take time to right the ship, and you have to be patient with yourself when you've messed up. And you have to stick to it. And I think that's my biggest takeaway in parenting. Stick to the game plan.
Right.
Run the play over and over and over again. Once you figure out which play is going to get you extra yardage, which play is going to get you the touchdown, you have got to keep running the play until it doesn't work. And then when it doesn't work anymore, find another one and be patient with that process.
Right. And I think another piece to that is when you do realize that you've been going in the wrong direction, let your kids see you make the turn.
Ooh. So do that very publicly.
Yes, let them see. I mean, one thing that we practiced with our kids was when we would mess up with something with them, we'd go back and tell them, hey, I was off.
Yep.
Apologize to them. Because you got to realize you're teaching them through your actions. And so if they never see you apologize, if they never see you switch up when you're doing something wrong, they don't learn how to do that. It's like you're telling them to do it, but they never get to see you do it. And I think that's powerful when you get to truly lead them by example versus you just being this talking head that's just telling them do.
Yeah.
You know, because that old adage that, children do what you say, not what you do, is not true. They do what you do,
Absolutely.
not what you say.
Absolutely. Jason just chimed in. He said, I'm struggling with that, Cherie. Jason's got boys, and I know it, Jason. The struggle is not wanting to control the outcome. And I think that for me, watching you give that up, because Cherie, I was a controller, but Cherie was a meticulous controller. Like she would be on you, like a chicken on a bug. Like she
Chicken
would not
on a bug?
Yeah, like that's a country term, baby.
A chicken
A
on
chicken.
a
Y'all
bug.
ever seen a chicken going after something to eat? Boy, he is on that thing, and he gonna run it down. The truth of the matter is, you white on rice. Is that better for you? Does that do it better for you? Like she wasn't gonna leave you alone.
I was going to say like a drill sergeant.
And a drill sergeant,
Okay.
that's a great another great analogy. But that smothered the kids.
Right.
For me, I was a different kind of controller in the sense that I would control you through my passivity. I would try to woo you into doing things my way because I wanted to sell you. Right. And I just realized that in the end, and again, our children are 33 and 25 now, and they're doing pretty well. And the crazy thing is that I had to realize that looking back, I didn't control nothing. I didn't have any control over anything. And the best thing I could do is back up, get out of their way, and let them figure it out. Jamitha, good to see you, sis. Hello. She said, good to see you. It's been a while, sweetie. I hope all is well with you and the fam. Happy Thanksgiving. But Jamitha said, to be an active listener and not one that will listen to respond. Absolutely, Jamitha. Huge point. Listen to understand, right? Listen to understand not to respond.
I'm mad, Marsha.
Marsha,
don't
that's it, Marsha.
hashtag that.
Chicken on a bun. I love it.
Chicken on a bun.
on a bun, right? No, it's supposed to be on a bug, but it's okay.
It's okay.
I'll take chicken on a bun because that's stuck together. It's like peanut butter and jelly. Cherie didn't let people breathe, Jack. It was like, hey, did you pick up the trash? Did you pick up the trash? Did you pick up? Remember that guy text you back? Let me call you. Let me come back. Let me send you a letter. Let me send you an Instagram. Let me do DM you something.
I'm delivered.
She's delivered with a T on the end of it.
Delivered.
Right. Look, guys, listen. We're gonna jump out of here in a second, but if any of you guys really quickly want to chime in, what does Pastor George say? He said, "Wow, Cherie, yes, great." No, I know it, man. She wasn't playing, Jack. Karen said that's so true. That was relationship life-saving 101. We talked about that in MAPS. Yep, we absolutely did. Karen, guys, listen. Let me say this before we roll out. Starting in January, we're going to be going live on our YouTube channel exclusively. We're no longer going to be broadcasting Breakfast with the Brookses live here on Facebook. So here's what I need you to do really quickly today. Please go to our YouTube channel and subscribe, right? That way, come January, when we begin to launch a new platform, we're going to have a slightly different look. We're trying to level up some things. It's not going to look like it does now. But the good news is that we're working on some things. We want you guys to get the notifications because I can see people now knocking at the door talking about, hey, where y'all at? I ain't seen y'all in 3 weeks. And it's like, no, we've been talking about this now. It'll be 6 weeks that we've been talking about it by the time we get to January 2019. So I don't want, there's no excuses. Y'all Bama's need to go straight to youtube.com/the CR Coach and subscribe.
I'm laughing at Sophia.
What's Sophia say? She said, no, this is such a good convo.
Well,
I don't want it to end.
If you guys want to join us for more conversations like this, join us in our MAPS community.
Yes.
You can go to www.thecrcoach, sign up for a free assessment so that we can talk to you, see if we're a fit for you. We have conversations like this weekly
the time
within our MAPS relationship
But then them
academy.
jokers get to weigh in. So now you got people, you can see their face no matter where you are in the country. You can interact. And now, and I said this in the beginning, babe, you don't have to do it by yourself.
Right.
Too many people are doing relationships in vacuums, and they wonder why they get sucked up in this vortex or this void of nothingness, and they're not fulfilled.
Right.
The kids are frustrated. They can't seem to advance and move the needle in their relationships. And I honestly think it's because they're doing life by themselves, and that doesn't work.
Yep, it doesn't. You need help.
You need help. Look, look, guys. When we say we all need some help, that's just not a hashtag, y'all. Yeah. We all need some help, guys. Listen, it's the day after, 2 days after Thanksgiving. I'm excited. I think I'm gonna go back and take a nap just because I can. Just because I can. And I want you guys just to be grateful. Dominic, good to see you, brother. We grateful for you too, my friend. Yes. Shout out to the MAPS community. He and his wife made so many changes over the last year and a half. We're so proud of the growth in their girls and that they get to see that process. So again, y'all, the MAPS community is not a game. We certainly want to encourage you to come grow with us. Absolutely, Karen. Thank you so much for posting that. Guys, we're going to get up out of here. At the end of the day, we always like to leave you with this reminder. We all need some help. Y'all be good.
Have a great Saturday.
We'll talk soon.